This is Bucket Talk, a monthly podcast taking you across America to meet the most badass tradespeople, industry leaders, and personalities. If you're looking to level up in the trades, you're in the right place. We are here on this episode of Bucket Talk with Luke McFadden, captain of the fishing vessel Southern Girl and others. What's kind of interesting about us is we did a podcast a couple of years back, but I couldn't pass up the opportunity to come visit you down in your neck of the woods and kind of get into where you're at now. We'll touch on some of the early stuff, but there's been a lot going on in the past couple of years. So thanks for being on the show.
Yeah, man, thanks for having me. It's cool to do it like in person, you know?
Yeah.
The last time it was like over Zoom or something like that. So it's nice to do it face to face.
Yep. So you just came off the water?
Yeah, I'm all dirty and nasty and smell like freaking crabs and bait, so I apologize.
What's an average morning look like for you? You wake up early in the morning and get going?
Yeah, we meet at the boat anywhere from 4 to 5:30.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times when it's real hot, we try to start early.
Yeah.
Beat the heat a little bit. But meet the guys down here. Usually I got 3 helpers. Sometimes I got 4. And load the bait on the boat, load ice and baskets, whatever we need, pots, and hit the water. Go to work.
That's crazy. And so this all came because you wanted to be a waterman.
Yeah.
Nobody in your family has done it before.
First generation.
You had a mentor early on that helped you out, sold you some pots and kind of taught you the ropes. But first 5 years, walk me through that.
It was misery. It was just like, so I worked crew. I started working crew when I was like 12 for this other guy, CJ.
Mm-hmm.
And, when I turned 18, got out of high school, I got my own boat, which was a questionable decision, and actually I had to build it because I just basically bought a hull, built it in the wintertime because I was working another job, to build the boat, and launched it in the spring. CJ sold me like 250 crab pots, kind of like pay me back as you get it, and the first 5 years was pure unadulterated misery and hell. It was just like the literal definition of insanity, which is crabbing in a nutshell, but it was also just like working crew and then actually running a boat is 2 completely different things. It ain't even the same. So
yeah,
I learned some hard lessons.
Now why did you want to do this so badly?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, I just always wanted to do it. Always thought it'd be cool. I just love being out there, I love being on the water, and it's kind of the last frontier, honestly. I know that sounds cliche, but like, man, you're out there. I can go crab where I want, do what I want. I make my own decisions. I'm on my own time. Of course, there's a million headaches that come with all that, but it's like, it's kind of like hunting and fishing.
Yep.
And it's like, it's the last thing in America you can kind of do like that, where you're just kind of like, it's just you and the natural world, and you can make a living off a natural resource.
So was that kind of your segue in? I know you talked about your father was kind of your mentor when it came to hunting and fishing. Is that kind of what sparked this whole...
Yeah, he definitely got me into the outdoors, and then, he always lived in Pennsylvania. But, so he got me into hunting and fishing at a young age, and then, when I grew up here in Pasadena, and I loved being on the water every single day after school. I was fishing and whatever else. I bought a boat when I was 11, a rowboat, and I was out there rowing every day, rowing around, fishing and crabbing and doing whatever. And then, when the job came up, my parents' friend CJ, he needed help, and I was like, man, that's like everything. That's what I do every day anyway. I was like, sounds freaking awesome. So I went, and it was awesome, and I don't know. And then I just say I'm just too dumb to quit.
Yeah.
Keep going.
What's the difference between captaining a boat and crewing your boat?
It's just 2 totally different things. And I didn't realize that when I, went from being crew to being a captain. Crew, you show up, you work hard.
Yep.
But also, you don't know what's going on. You're like in the captain's head. Like you were there to do a job, and it's so hot, fast paced, and you're so busy that you just kind of do your job. You're out there and you're seeing it, but you're just doing your job. But you're not understanding all the things that I kind of understand now as a captain. Like, keeping an eye on crew. You're making sure the crabs are getting called right. You're making sure that, you're laying lines back correctly. You're moving pots to stay on crabs, like keeping the boat up, keeping the trucks up, keeping the crabs alive, getting market, getting bait. Like these are all things that like I had no idea about, until you're in the position where you got to.
Yeah. So if you were to like peel back the curtain and reset time, and you have chose to be a captain again?
Yeah, probably. I mean, my parents always told me, they were like, they supported me wanting to be a crabber, not going to college and all that, but they always told me, like, if you're going to crab, you ought to be the guy that drives the boat. You ought to try to be a captain. And thing is, it's not like you can just go get a job as a captain. Like, crabbers are independent, so if you want to be the captain, you got to be the guy that does it all. You got to start the business and build it and grow it.
So for people that don't know, it doesn't stop at the dock. You sell direct to customers. At one point in time, you did wholesale.
I do. Yeah, I used to sell wholesale. Now I have a retail spot.
So now you gotta worry about the market prices. You're tied in with a restaurant that ships nationally.
Yep.
So there's, also behind the maintenance costs and everything like that, you're top to bottom running this business.
Yes. Yep. Top to bottom. That's a good way to put it.
What's the worst part about the job?
It's just stressful, man. Like, it's just, there's a lot of things, and everything in crabbing is just a lot of work. Which is, I got no problem working hard, but it's just, especially selling your own. Like I say, selling your own is like 5 times the money for 3 times the headache. You know what I mean? 3 times the money for 5 times the headache is what I always say. Because, like we were just talking about earlier, I said it's the end of my workday. It's 2 p.m., but not really. It's kind of the end of my first part of the workday, because we get here, we go crab, we come in, we get the crabs here. I got to go, inventory the crabs, put them up in the fridge, and then you got to come back. I got to run soft crabs. I got to do, pick up bait, make sure I got bait. We got to, fix anything that's broken on the boat, not to mention just the maintenance of everything.
Yep.
We got, crab pots that we're always buying more and this and that. So my house looks like a freaking, crab pot boat junkyard, because we're always, we're working on stuff like I call it dark to dark work. And, and then Saturday, we crab Monday through Friday, and then we sell crabs Saturday and Sunday at the retail spot. And we also ship crabs.
Cool. So one thing, last time when we did all this, I had asked you, were you at the state of the business where you were just going to maintain the course and you were content, and you said no, you wanted to expand in the future. Have you made steps towards that?
Yeah, getting the retail spot was a huge jump.
Yep.
And that was a huge risk too, because when you sell to market and then you go to sell your own, you kind of can't do both. You know what I mean? Like, you kind of, I don't want to say you necessarily get blacklisted, but it's like, buyers ain't gonna really buy from you if you're selling your own, because they're gonna assume that you're pulling the big crabs, and you're trying to peddle off whatever you can't move. So I bought that little piece of property, and we started out of the back of a pickup truck, just my wife and I selling, and then we got the refrigerator trailer sold out of that, and then now I have that boat and everything. I don't know if you've seen that, but so I got like a 41-foot wood boat, converted it into a crab stand, and then put that in the ground up there, and then we sell, right out of the boat. Just kind of, a little more than a trailer on the side of the road. But, we don't have electricity. You know what I mean? Like, we run generators. Like, it ain't all that. You know what I mean? It's just a freaking fruit stand.
Now, are your customers today, are they more one and done people, or are they loyalists?
It depends. So, we have a lot of really good loyal customers, which is awesome, which is really what you need. With the social media stuff picking up a lot in the last couple years, it kind of changed that dynamic, where we started getting a lot more people that were traveling, or like people that were fans of the videos and stuff like that. Which solved some problems, created others. I lost a lot of local customers because, before they just showed up and, they got crabs out the truck or off the trailer, and now they show up and there's a line, which is, a good problem, but also they don't want to do that. And you have to have a good local clientele to kind of lean on, depend on, to move them all week. You know what I mean? So
you don't want to be a flash in the pan.
Right. So we've changed it up a little bit. So like this year, for instance, like, I'm at the crab stand like one weekend a month, every third weekend. And we treat it more as like like kind of an event. We have the food truck come down, and, if people want to come and meet me and all that. And then the other weekends, we still get some of those people, but, it makes it a lot easier for the locals to, be able to come and get crabs easily. And, I really, like, they're my people. You know what I mean? Like, I really care deeply about the locals. Like, they've been behind me my whole career. So I want to, take care of them.
Yeah.
first. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is kind of interesting. Like you had said, social media kind of happened on accident, but then it's kind of grown into its. I mean, it complements your business, but it's also a separate business in its own right.
Yeah.
And now you're running 2 businesses and trying to balance all that.
Yeah, it's really like 3: catching them, selling them, and then social media is, as you well know, I'm sure it's its whole own job.
Yeah. So created a couple of challenges, but it sounds like you're kind of working through it.
Yeah, we're trying to figure out creative solutions to creative problems. So it's like it's constantly just trying new stuff, trying to figure it out, trying to it's doesn't leave a lot of downtime.
Right.
I'll say that.
So you were gonna level up from this, right? This is a converted houseboat, one of your first pieces of equipment. I mean, that's how you kind of got your name.
Yeah.
And then you got another boat. Walk us through what happened there.
Yeah. Well, funny thing about Southern Girl, people might think this is kind of funny. I may have mentioned this before, but my name on like YouTube and TikTok and all this is like FV Southern Girl.
Yep.
But like I used to be like a big hater of social media, you know what I mean? I was old school crab guy, you know what I mean? Like so I just had these like accounts that I didn't have a profile picture. It was like I just made it FV Southern Girls because it was the name of my boat, and then it kind of took off, and then it like I don't want to change it, you know what I mean? So now it's like I got this name that I didn't even really like plan on that everybody knows now. But and I didn't name it Southern Girl when I got that boat. I didn't have no money to get it relettered or anything, so I just left it. You know what I mean? And so now it's like the whole deal. But so dude, the Southern Girl, she's a great boat. Kind of. I mean, I've replaced everything in her twice, but I've been working my butt off to try to save up and whatever to get a bigger boat because I've just kind of outgrown this one in a lot of ways. And it was just like, man, there was so many situations where I was going to try to buy another boat. It got bought out from under me or this or that or the other or the phone. I didn't have the money at the time to get the boat that I wanted. And so then I finally, like last year, I got this other boat, 42 hulls unlimited, needed some work, but it was I could afford it, and it was the boat that it's like the pinnacle of, it's one of the top tier kind of hulls, for what we do. It's like guys that get them boats, they don't usually sell them, so they don't go up often. So I jumped at the chance to get it, and I bought it, and then like literally that same night, these other crabbers come and vandalized the whole boat, stole everything off it, took a grinder to the hydraulics, just trashed bust all the windows out, just trashed it. So I was like, man, I've literally been saving and working to try to get a new boat to solve a lot of the problems I have with the small boat for years and years. And there were so many times, like I said, I was like, had the chance to get another one and it just didn't work out for whatever reason. And then this one, I finally got it. And then it was like, I didn't even get to run it. I never even ran the boat. It was just that same night they tore it up. So
probably
it was
didn't
really
even have enough time to put an insurance policy.
I didn't know. There's all these people online that are like, oh, it was an insurance scam and this and that. I'm like, dude, I didn't have insurance on it.
Yeah.
Like it was just straight loss. You know? It sucked.
So walk me through the rebuild process. So you're not giving up on her?
No. I'm stuck now. I mean, when it got tore up, I put it out online. I try to show the good, the bad, and the ugly. You know what I mean? And of the whole industry and the business. And a lot of people wanted to start GoFundMe's and this and that, and I just didn't feel right doing that.
Yeah.
So we came up with a T-shirt design, and we sold T-shirts, like a limited run of T-shirts too. And I used that money to put towards rebuilding the boat. So people at least, that wanted to help at least got something. I just didn't feel right taking,
something for nothing.
Yeah. So we started this winter rebuilding the entire thing from the ground up. I mean, literally, it just needed everything. And it wasn't that they had destroyed things to a point where it couldn't have been fixed. It could have been fixed, but I was like, I knew the boat needed work, and I didn't want to just spend a bunch of time and money, to get it right back to where it was, to a boat that needed a bunch of work.
Right.
So we got in there, and of course with boats, people that do boats, they know, or really anything, you get in there and you're like, oh wow, it needs completely like a full gut job. So we gutted the whole boat, cut the stringers, I mean everything, and we're rebuilding it right now. Like we've restringered it, which took us all winter. I think we laid 492 pieces of fiberglass.
Yeah.
Just for the stringers.
Now is this one of those moments in your life where it was like a bad thing happened, but something good came out of it, that you're probably gonna come out the other end with the boat that you want, done the way you want. I know probably didn't go down the way you wanted to, but
yeah, definitely. I mean, I found in my life a lot of the worst things in the time end up being the best things that could happen in the long run, and I really try to hold on to that.
yeah.
And this was, I was so disappointed. I wasn't even angry. I was just disappointed because I'd just been busting my tail for so long to try to get this, and I got it, and I just didn't even, it was just like gone. So
well, and I've spent years in in my early life, fishing piers, boats, you name it, with some of the roughest guys around, and it kind of does suck when it comes from your own community.
Yeah, that was kind of the thing that stung, man. I was like, dude, I really try to do everything I can to help the community of watermen, because the average age of a waterman's 58.
Yeah,
I'm 29.
Yeah.
So they don't have a lot of
young blood coming in.
Yeah, and and they're not well represented, in the modern age of the internet and this and that. And I never set out to try to be like the face of the industry or anything. But the facts of it is that a lot of people see my videos online, and they know what I do, and so they associate me with Maryland crabbing in a lot of ways. So that definitely was a bummer. But even just being first generation, you catch a lot of flack from the it's a very traditionally kind of family industry, generational industry. So I've always had issues here and there just for that and whatever else, but that was pretty low. I thought, and I was like, man, that's really a bummer. But on the bright side, it was amazing to see the community really be behind me on this, and also when it's done, I'll have a brand new boat. We got to build it. But I'll know everything about her. I'm building her myself, so I have a new one, and I can use it my whole career, I hope.
What is the scheduled delivery date, if you will?
Man, I don't know. I thought I could have it done last winter, but it's such a big boat, and there's so much stuff, and it's just me and my friend Riley that are doing it, and everything takes so much time. And I'm learning as I do it. I learned how to do polyester fiberglass. Like, I'm learning I don't know how to build a boat.
Yeah.
I mean, I built a lot of stuff, but like, it's different when you're dealing with something like that. But I don't know. I mean, I hope to have it done this winter, but I'm making no promises because there's just so many jobs. I mean, the back of the door is our list, just Sharpie, and it's all the way top to the bottom. It's just like everything on a boat is wildly expensive and takes a very long time, and it's just tedious work a lot of times.
So
and we don't have a shop. We're dealing with elements too, you know what I mean? Like, we're doing it outside.
So are there people coming down here to show you how to do polyester fiberglassing, or are you we're just
figuring it out? Yeah, we spent a lot of time watching YouTube videos to go do it and then shoot a YouTube video about doing it, but
that's cool.
I'm very transparent with people in terms of like, I don't really know what I'm doing. We're trying to do it the very best we can in the right way. Buy once, cry once, build her once. Yeah. But we're learning.
Has anybody come out of the woodwork that's notable to help you out with the project, or?
Garmin has helped out with the electronics. Hills Marine, which is some friends of mine, they did a lot of work on my engine and everything for me. I had to get the engine rebuilt and all, and they helped me out a lot on that. Like Atlantic Turbo gave me new turbo and whatever else. There's been a lot of people. It's been that have either reached out to offer advice or a discount on some work or this or that to help us move forward with it.
So see, social media isn't all that bad.
Man, no, it's not that bad. It's got its benefits for sure. I mean, a lot of these people actually for the boat, they're people in town though. Like I said, my community, like they're my people I've known. Garmin's an exception, obviously, but a lot of the other people that have helped with advice or helped getting me materials. Yeah. Composite Yacht in Cambridge has helped me out a lot with sourcing material. I'm forgetting a lot of stuff. There's a Patriot Marine. Got me the fuel tanks. They built me brand new fuel tanks. He's in New Jersey. Like, it really has been cool to see my local community help, awesome. Step up and offer help and whatever else for getting it done. Yeah.
And then you've also had another setback. Obviously we're in the Maryland area. Tragedy struck in Baltimore with the bridge and the collision there. Not necessarily difficult for you per se in like your day-to-day operations, but definitely impacted the community.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people that work up at the port that are, my people here. that, you know, were out of work, and, you know, it really affected a lot of stuff, and, you know, affects you too, you know, when you're somebody that is deeply embedded in the community. But in terms of like what we do, you know, it's created a lot of logistical problems.
Yeah.
You know, there's marinas over there that we get boats hauled up at. There's, you know, where I buy all my crab pot supply, Miller's Island Crab Pot, McCluskey's Marine, you know, like Miller's Island Prop Shop. All those are spots that, you know, we need their resources pretty frequently, and, you know, now you gotta fight traffic to go through the tunnel, and it's not impossible. It's just, it was really convenient having the bridge. It was a 30-minute drive, and now it's an hour and change. And, you know, a lot of times it's actually, like when I go get the boats hauled up over at McCluskey's, I just take my skiff over there. It's faster to go by water than it is by car.
Really?
Yeah, because it's like you can buzz out the creek and shoot across the bay, and instead of, you know, having to get in the truck and drive all the way around.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny around here. It's like some places are a lot faster to get to by water.
That's crazy. I mean, you wouldn't, I don't know. It's Maryland for me is an interesting state, right? It's a very small, compact state. It's very diverse. I mean, you got city, you got farm country, you got water, all within this
mountains.
Yeah, all within this tiny
little state. Yeah,
all within this little state.
Yep.
And just to hear that, you know, people are still traveling the waterway as transportation is kind of wild. You wouldn't think of it.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. Like, to me, it's so normal just because we've done it, but it's like it is something that's not. I get you know, you just don't do that everywhere, you know, but like in the summertime, if we go out on the boat, like we don't go to restaurants and bars and stuff on land really if it's warm. Most people don't, you know, if you got a boat, like there's so many dock bars and things, and, you know, we're going to the island or the sandbar and hanging out, and, you know, if I want to go somewhere, sometimes, like I said, it's faster to hop in the boat, and instead of sitting in traffic, you just buzz over to where you got to be. And
that goes back to your earlier point. It's like, it feels like the last frontier. You're like a cowboy of sorts, or a pioneer of sorts. It's like,
it's cool.
You don't have to deal with the normal, you know, sitting in traffic, blah blah blah. You're just out there doing your own thing.
Yeah, it's cool. It's freeing. I imagine that's how hunting guides feel a lot of times, or something like that. You know what I mean? Where it's kind of like you up to yourself doing what you want and what you can with what's there. It's kind of a beautiful thing.
So what's the rebuild like for it? Is there any timeline for
the boat?
The bridge?
Oh, the bridge, man, I don't know. You know, when it happened, they're like, oh, we'll have it done in 5 years, but they ain't even started taking it apart yet. So now they're saying 10 to 15 years would be the bridge.
Wow.
So can't count on it, that's for sure.
That's crazy. I mean, I remember seeing it, and just how, you know, I guess surreal it is. You know, it just buckled.
Yeah.
And
it was insane. It was like the thing heard around the state, you know what I mean? It was just like, it was just nuts. Yeah, it's something you just never would think would ever happen, and it's just like
and
right in your backyard.
I mean, and it could happen, but not to that degree. I mean,
the
whole bridge is gone.
Yeah, you just don't see stuff like that, you know, often in America, at least, you know what I mean? Like, but it's kind of a stark reminder. It's like the infrastructure's fragile. Literally, you know?
And it's funny too, because not only the infrastructure is fragile, but like this came during like an industrial era of whatever, the 30s, 40s, and 50s, right, when a lot of this stuff was built.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, they said it was bulletproof back then, but like, what was the degree of testing? What was the degree of knowledge back then that, you know? I don't know.
Well, a lot less cars, a lot less people, a lot less stress on everything, I'd guess. And,
I mean, I guess they didn't work.
I mean, you know, like that bridge used to dump right into Bethlehem Steel, you know, and that built railroad for America.
Yeah.
You know, we just don't have that kind of industry in Baltimore anymore. Yeah. But on the, you know, if you want to find a silver lining, it's created a lot of jobs for people on the water. You know, the bridge rebuild and everything, because, you know, they have to hire marine contractors come in and take it down and then rebuild it. Mm-hmm. So there is a silver lining. It's created some jobs as well for tradespeople, you know, which is good. I've had some helpers that used to help me on the boat that have gotten jobs up there running boats and whatever, it's good.
So to pivot from there, I'm going crabbing with you tomorrow. What should I expect?
I mean, it's not like we're crabbing a full day tomorrow. Maybe I shouldn't spoil it, but, you know, like we just got a few to fish. It's, what should you expect? I guess, I don't know. I mean, it's going to be, weather ought to be nice. I mean, it's kind of hard for me to explain to, you know, like I do it every day. So it's kind of like, I don't know, we're going to be out there and we're going to fish a few rows of pots, get some crabs in the boat, and see all kind of stuff.
I guess we'll do it this way. How far are we going out?
A couple miles. We're within 10 miles.
So it'll take us 20 minutes to get there?
Yeah, 20, 30 minutes.
And then,
it ain't going to be far.
And then you pull up, you just go check all your pots?
Yeah. So, like the way I crab is called underwater lines. So we got 25 crab pots connected to each line.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll pull up a hawk, which is one of those big red buoys with a flag, put the line on the winder, run down the line, break the traps over the rail. Somebody will shake the crabs out, put bait in them, we'll stack them on the boat, turn around, set them back.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's not, it ain't rocket surgery, but it's like it's a when we have a full crew and whatever else and we're out doing it, it's a pretty well-oiled machine, it's an assembly line essentially.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it'll be, if you've never seen it or done it in person, it's probably going to be pretty neat.
I've seen it it on the lobster side, so I've been a part of a few of those.
Similar.
Sure, it's similar.
It's dirty.
Yeah.
Hot, stinks, and loud.
Yeah. No, I'm looking forward to it.
It's cool to see, though.
Yeah. Yeah. And then when it goes for regulations for crabs, there's undersized crabs.
Yeah, so 5 1/4 across the shell.
Now, do you have a specific tool like?
Yeah, we have call sticks.
Okay, cool.
Yep. And now there's like limits on crabs and stuff like that certain months. So, but we won't have any trouble tomorrow. We're not fishing that many pots. So
now, has regulation gotten tighter over the years, even since we've talked?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah. It's gotten a lot tighter.
So what's new there?
I don't know, man. I mean, they do these dredge surveys where they survey the crabs over the wintertime and try to get a count, but I don't know enough about the dredge survey to speak on it really, but I know that we had a lot of bad PR with crabs this year in the last couple years, saying, oh, it's a lower and lower and lower population. But I mean, I had one of the best springs I've ever had this year, and I mean, we've been tearing them up lately. I mean, for the past couple months, it's been really good. I've had some of my best days of my career in the last month and a half, which is kind of odd for this time of year. Usually it's kind of slim pickings, but I mean, we've just been crushing them. We burned them up today.
Now, what are they saying that's due to? I mean, can't say overfishing anymore because that's
well, the thing is, they set thresholds and then they survey, they keep records. Obviously, I have to send in records every day of what I catch and what I'm doing. And, they say the commercial fishermen are still below the threshold to decline the population, so really can't blame watermen. I mean, there's blue catfish, which is an invasive species here now that has gotten their population's pretty much exploded, and they're really hard on crab population. But
in what regard? They eat them?
Yeah, they eat a lot of crabs.
Really?
Yeah, but man, it's like anything else in nature. Stuff ebbs and flows. Some years we'll see a load of a certain kind of fish, and then the next year we won't barely see any. And then the next year we'll see twice as many as we've seen 3 years ago. It's like you got to think we got a lot of factors. There's a lot of ecological factors, environmental factors in terms of water treatment plants around here, which is a big thing that creates dead zones. The water has just been really hot the last few years as well. It's just nature. Stuff comes and goes. It's just kind of the way it is.
Now, they're considered migratory, right? It's a migratory species.
Crabs, yeah.
What is the level of migration? Is it just from one side of Maryland to the other? Is it up and down the eastern seaboard?
It's the Chesapeake Bay, so it's Virginia and Maryland waters.
Okay.
So they'll go down. Crabs are kind of traveling on this path traditionally. They'll kind of start in Virginia. Their season opens in March, ours opens in April. And they'll kind of catch a lot of crabs way down the bay in Virginia, a couple 100 miles away, 200 miles down from where we are. And then the crabs are kind of moving up the bay, and then they kind of go to move back down, because you also got to remember here in Maryland, our crabs hibernate.
Okay.
So it's different than like a crab in Louisiana or in the South, where the crabs are doing their thing all year. So our crabs only have half the year to get through their whole life cycle and migrate and reproduce and do all that kind of stuff as well.
Now, did they come up here for a specific reason, or is it just
a lot of times it's salinity?
Okay.
The salinity of the water. We're in brackish water, so it's a mix of fresh and salt.
Yeah.
But a lot of times the salinity has to do with it. They might want a different salinity to shed their shell and grow, or whatever, food, all those kinds of things. They kind of, I don't know, they're just doing their thing.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, it's a great deep dive into the crab fishing industry. So that's
a lot of people don't know that. They just think they're kind of like out there all the time. But we're kind of working on different biomasses of crabs as they move up and move down, and whatever else.
Yeah. So you're getting older. Thoughts of kids on the horizon?
I don't know. I mean, probably kind of near future, I would think. You know, I'm 29, my wife's 29, so
Yeah.
probably in the next few years, I think.
Well, I'm leading you into a question. So
Oh,
you're
boy.
a first generation crabber.
Uh-huh.
Is there going to be a second generation crabber?
I don't know, man. You know, I always think about that, and I think about how I was as a kid, and anything your parents want you to do, you kind of don't want to do. So I don't know. I don't have kids, so I can't. But I kind of like to think, you know, if they're into it, if they want to, great. If not, you know, it is what it is. I really hope that by the time I have kids and they're at the age that they could do it, that the resource is still here and still, you know, I hope it's 100 times better than it is now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, as fishermen, we're the steward of the resource.
Correct.
You know? So like we're not just pirates. Like, we care about there being more and more in the future.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm the most interested person in there being more crabs.
Correct.
I do not want to catch the last one, you know. But you know, if they want to do it, great. If not, you know, I hope at least I have built something that they could, you know, either be interested in a facet of that or not, you know, whatever.
Yeah,
Or at least provide for them.
Because it's kind of interesting with any fishing industry. It feels like it's not just generational, but like multi-generational, and it's like I know to some degree it's dying off. People went different ways. You know, parents actually pushed their children away from the industries because of regulation or just changing fisheries.
Yeah.
In
It's
that
hard
regard.
work. It's hard on your body too.
Yeah, but you would recommend it? So if your kid wanted to do it, you'd stand behind it?
Yeah, if they wanted to, I
yeah.
absolutely would. I mean, you know, you just got to know what you're getting into.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, we lose more watermen every year than we gain. But, you know, now, especially economically, it's very hard to get into the industry.
Yeah.
The cost is just astronomical just to operate. You know, it's over $1,000 a day to leave the dock, and you have a lot of overhead and just everything, boat maintenance, buying boats. You know, like now, the same boat that, like, you know, CJ, my buddy, bought 21 years ago for $40,000 is $140,000. You know, and crab pots used to be, you know, $15 bucks. I got $52 a pot now, you know, to put them together. So yeah, a lot of watermen have tried to, I don't want to say discourage, but you know, they want their kids to go to college or you know, get into a trade or, you know, do something that's a little more stable and predictable, because between the regulation and the rising cost, it's a tough game, man.
Yeah.
It's hard to get into. You need a lot of money to get into it now.
So,
and a lot of sweat equity.
before we end the podcast, so I asked you one of your worst times, and your time out there was when you were out in the rough storm and it ended up breaking the boat, and exhaust caught fire and stuff like that, and that was a hair-raising moment for you. We talked about like some of the celebratory times, like how, you know, when you're at wholesale and you have a big haul, like that's great, but when you're doing customer sales, sometimes a big haul means a ton more work and trying to but tell me one of the funniest stories that you've had out on the water. There's got to be something somebody doesn't know, somebody hasn't heard, that you just laugh your ass off and revisit it every now and again.
Funniest.
You got to have fun out there.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun. I mean, it's too miserable to not try to make some fun with it, you know what I mean? But I don't know, necessarily funniest. I mean, I'm always pulling little pranks on people and stuff, and there's been a lot. I'd have to really think about it. You know, I've always been kind of the jokester, the prankster, the fleet, because I'm the youngest. You know, I've always been the youngest guy in the fleet by far.
Yeah.
So I'm always trying to pass the time and, you know, mess with the old timers and all. And
yeah, you guys with each other over the radio?
Actually, I do. I don't even turn the radio on. I don't get my feelings hurt. I just leave the radio off. But I mean, putting stuff in crab pots. I mean, CJ, a couple 4th of Julys ago, and this other dude, I got a bunch of bottle rockets and Roman candles. And it was like 4th of July, and they were headed out, and we were shooting bottle rockets at them, and like one of them landed right in his like hot tank and exploded, you know, just water everywhere and whatever else. Just like, it's just kind of a combination of like all those kind of funny times, funny moments, and like putting CJ, my buddy, like we would always put stuff like in his crab pot that was reasonable, but not like, you know, not impossible, but crazy, like, you know, like a lobster, you know, there's no lobsters in the bay, you know, just, or like some weird fish, something that like, you know, and he's like taking pictures, putting them all over Facebook, like, oh, I caught this thing, like we're laughing our butts off because we're like, we put that in there, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
freaking lobster in a crab pot or something, you know, just, there's been a lot of stuff like that, and we try to have a good time, you know, just
So anywhere I go, I try to map out where the nearest bathroom is for whatever reason. Where's the bathroom on this boat?
You're sitting on it. Find a nice spot with a good view and a nice breeze, and that's it, baby.
All right, well, I'm taking...
Ain't got no room for a head on there. Ain't no money made in the cabin.
So I'm taking...
Party foul.
Party foul. Taking this bad boy with me tomorrow.
That's right.
Dude wipes, exactly.
That's right. Yeah.
Well,
People are like, "Why don't you put air conditioning in the cabin or something?" I said, "I don't want them in the cabin." I said, "You ain't made no money in the cabin." I said, "You got to get out there. You want the cabin to be the worst place to be."
Hell yeah. Well, thanks for having us again. It was great checking in on you. I look forward to crabbing tomorrow.
Yeah, man.
It should be awesome, and
Yeah.
I want to learn more. But
appreciate you guys taking the time, man.
Yeah. If anybody wants to find you or ask any questions, where can they do that?
I mean, you could just like look up my name kind of wherever, like on any of the platforms, Luke McFadden. There's a lot of like, especially Facebook, there's a load of fake pages, all of them. There's a bunch of fake accounts, but like I got the little blue check by like all the real ones. So just look for my name with like the
blue check mark.
Yeah.
Yep, verified.
But I do more YouTube stuff now, really, is what I'm focusing more on in terms of the social media, you know. So I started on TikTok and I do them all, but I'm really focused on YouTube. So if you're looking for something more longer format, that kind of stuff, check it out on YouTube, and we do all kinds of stuff beyond just crabbing too. So.
And we'll follow the build. That'll be interesting. And
yeah, we got plenty of build videos.
Well, thanks for taking time out of your day.
Hey man, no problem. I appreciate you guys coming down. I appreciate your time.
Same.
And we'll have a good time tomorrow.
Hell yeah.